Good morning, engineers. It's Mrs. Vandermissen. Hey, we are in long blocks for our last couple days this week, so this is your last class in Pre-Engineering 3 for the week, and the last class before I'm back together with you. And I'm eager to come back and get us moving forward on our work, but you have done a great job of accomplishing things this week. So let's take a look at our calendar. Today is long blocks set 1. And so we have 75 minutes, so it's an extra time, which is great for you to work. Let's take a look at what we've got set up for you in Schoology today. It is just listed in a calendar task. It's not a turn-in because it's kind of a paper turn-in today. There's nothing for you to put in Schoology, but there's a lot to get done. So let's take a look at it. So I have provided one of those little blue SD cards for you, for your team, and you'll notice that they're now labeled. They'll say like STEM 1, STEM 2, STEM 3, so that identifies which card your work has been stored on. So what I want you to do is start by moving all of the individual STL files that your team has been working with onto that SD card that's been assigned to you. And then go ahead and use Simplify 3D and those prep print lists that you created in your design notebooks yesterday to fill the Simplify 3D trays with the different bunches that you planned, and then export those to the file. I'll open up Simplify 3D here in just a second to remind you, but export each full tray. And then as you do that, you're going to be completing a 3D print request form for me. So let's take a look at that. The 3D print request form looks like this. I just need you to record your course name, of course, Pre-Engineering 3. The project name is the lend-a-hand, and then the SD card ID. So that's the name that's written on the card. It'll be probably STEM 1 to STEM 4, something like that. And then the team members for your team. And then you're going to notice that I did a color printout of some of the readily available filament colors. We don't have all of these in-house right now, but we need some more anyway, so I'll be ordering some stock over the weekend. So you'll know the colors that are easily available for me to get. And then this is the order of printing that your team needs to do that hand assembly like you were planning yesterday. So your first print tray, and then I need the name of the X3G print file, and then the filament color request, and here are the easy choices above. And you've seen the ones we have in the room, so there's the Colts blue and the Kelly green and the neon green, and I have a little bit of gold, but not too much left. So for each print tray, you can choose one color, and you know the ones that we've had in the classroom are available immediately. And then the print weight in grams and the print time in hours and minutes as estimated by Simplify 3D. So for each tray full that you've planned and need to print, I want you to go ahead and load those onto X3G files and then record here all the information for each tray print that you need. Now I'm going to take a minute. We're going to go into Simplify 3D and do a couple of reminders. I know most of you have worked with us a few times on this project, but I'll show you a couple of quick reminders. Okay, so I have one model on here, and this is a really big model, but I'm going to go ahead and load something else on the tray to print with it. So I'm going to move it around. An important thing to do as you're loading multiple models on the tray is on the Edit menu, make sure to drop that model to the table. It ensures a good seal with the table so that there isn't some kind of degree of rotation and it isn't actually going to stick down and print. Okay, then I'm going to go import another model. And I think I'm going to use this, test this. I think this is a flat tile. Yep, there it is. And now as I spin it around, I can see those two have intersected with each other. So I want to move this piece over. And I actually don't want to print it in that direction. So I'm going to go ahead and double click it to open the rotation windows. I think this is a 90-degree rotation. I was mistaken. So let's do 90-degree X. It was 90. I will just rotate it until it is in the direction that I think I want. There we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and make sure to drop that to the table. That way I know the back face of it contacts well. Okay, so we're going to imagine that this is enough to load up my tray, which for you I know it won't be. You'll want to have this as packed full but not touching as that you can. Then I'm going to go to Edit Process Settings. For me, 10% infill is a good practice model. There might have been some guidelines on your video assembly, guidelines to say what percent infill. You can probably bump your percent infill up to 20%. We shouldn't need any rafter support, I don't think. And then you'll want to choose PLA, that's what we've been printing with. And then right or left extruder. And then an important thing that's not on the form, I'll show you this in a second. So once that is all set, we say OK. An important thing that is not on the form that you're going to want to add is on the filament request. Between this, where the file name is, and the filament color request, you need to write down whether you've set that extruder up to be left or right. In fact, you can put it with the color, left or right extruder. That's so I know on which side to load the filament so that we get the right color for your request. Okay, now we're going to go back to S3D. We're going to prepare this to print. There we go. And here we get the build statistics. So this is 4 hours and 58 minutes. And it is a plastic weight of, I'm going to round that up to a full gram, so 108 grams. So I would come over here and I would record 4 hours and 58 minutes and 108 grams. And then I would go back and I would save that to a disk. And then my file name here, that's actually not it. This is Malcolm and Seam's part for their class. But I would record what that X3G file name is. Take that over and fill it in here. And then actually send it to disk and say save. I'm going to cancel because I don't need to save this, but say save, and then you are good to exit the preview mode, and then you can unload your models from the tray and set up your next print. Okay, when you are done today, I want you to put your 3D print request page and your SD card back in the plastic sleeve that you will have received with it, and then hand those back to the sub. I'm going to try to get some of these set up and printing over the weekend. Thanks for your hard work this week. I'm really looking forward to being back in class with you next week. Have a great weekend.